It began with a lantern, not just any lantern, but one that should have been cold, dead, and forgotten, buried beneath centuries of soil in the haunted woods outside Salem, Massachusetts. Yet on a damp October night, when four friends stumbled upon it, they found the impossible. The candle inside still burned, a fragile flame flickering against cracked glass, as if it had been waiting for them all along. Within a week, one of those friends would vanish. Within a month, the entire town would fear the sound of footsteps in the dark. And within a year, Salem would never be the same again. The locals would come to call it the Hollow Lantern. Salem was never just another New England town. It carried a reputation carved into its bones, a name synonymous with witches, curses, and judgment. Centuries after the infamous trials, tourists still came to walk its cobblestone streets, drawn by a morbid fascination with its past. But Salem had more than witch stories to tell. The elders whispered about the woods just beyond Gallows Hill, where no tours went, and where the guides spoke only in half-truths. Hunters claimed they heard voices. Children dared each other to step past the tree line at night. Lights moved there where no house stood. And always the lantern. Evelyn Price was the first to see it. She was 17, restless, and tired of Salem being nothing more than witch shops and tourist buses. That October night, she and her friends Marcus, Jonah, and Claire had been wandering the edge of Gallows Hill, following a narrow deer trail that wound deeper into the woods. The air smelled of wet leaves and rain. Branches tangled overhead like a ceiling of bones. Then Evelyn's foot struck metal. She crouched and brushed away the soil. There it was, an iron lantern, rust-eaten, its handle warped, its glass fractured, but the flame inside still glowed faintly like a heartbeat. "Must be some Halloween prop," Jonah muttered, his voice unsteady. But Claire, the quietest of them, whispered something none of them would forget. "It's warm." They should have left it there instead. Marcus picked it up. Back in Evelyn's garage, the lantern cast an amber glow across the walls. No one could explain how the flame never dimmed. There was no wick, no fuel, just a hollow cavity where a candle should be. And yet, the light burned on. Jonah tried smothering it with a towel. Hours later, when they lifted the cloth, the flame flickered as steady as before. Claire swore she heard something when she leaned close. A faint scratching, like nails against glass. She stepped back, pale-faced, but the others only laughed. They went home after midnight, leaving the lantern on Evelyn's workbench. By morning, Evelyn's dog was missing. At first, no one connected the two. Salem was an old town. Cats went missing, dogs strayed. But then Marcus woke to find muddy footprints inside his room, leading from the window straight to the foot of his bed. Jonah's younger brother swore he saw a figure standing at the edge of their yard at 3 in the morning, holding a lantern that vanished. When he blinked, Claire stopped sleeping. She said that every time she closed her eyes, she saw faces pressed against the glass of the lantern, mouths open, silent screams. They tried returning it to the woods, but the trail was different now. Trees leaned closer together, roots twisted differently. The path seemed to have shifted overnight. The woods didn't want it back. It was October 21st when Evelyn vanished. Her mother swore she went to bed at 10:30. By dawn, her room was empty. The only sign left behind was the lantern on her nightstand, its glow brighter than ever. Police searched the woods. Flyers were plastered across Salem's historic streets. Search parties combed Gallows Hill. But Salem was old, layered with tunnels, ruins, and woods that twisted endlessly. No trace of Evelyn was found. The others, Marcus, Jonah, and Claire, stayed silent about the lantern. Who would believe them? But guilt grew heavy on Claire's heart. One night, she confessed everything. The flame, the scratching voices, the faces in the glass. Her father, half drunk, smashed the lantern against the floor. The glass shattered. The flame sputtered out. For the first time in weeks, the garage was dark. Relief lasted less than a day. By nightfall, the lantern was whole again, sitting on the kitchen table, its glow flickering calmly, as if nothing had happened. That winter, 2 more vanished. A postal worker whose truck was found idling at the roadside. A schoolteacher last seen walking home through the historic district. In both cases, witnesses spoke of a faint light drifting near Gallows Hill. The town grew paranoid. Salem, usually bustling with tourists, fell into silence after dusk. Curfews were whispered. Parents locked their children inside. And yet, the lantern appeared where it pleased, on porches, in basements, at the end of dark hallways. Always glowing, always waiting. Sheriff Donnelly had lived in Salem his entire life, through whispers of ghosts and reenactments of trials. But this was different. He dug into old records. What he found chilled him. In 1692, during the witch trials, one account described a lantern of iron, which glowed without flame, carried into the woods by an accused woman who vanished before she could be hanged. In 1891, a fire consumed a factory near Gallows Hill, killing 17 workers. Survivors swore they saw lantern lights flickering in the ashes. In 1953, 3 children disappeared on Halloween night. Their costumes were later discovered in a heap on the church steps. Next to them, a lantern, burning still. The pattern was undeniable. Every few decades, the lantern returned. And now, it had chosen them. By spring, Jonah was unraveling. He swore Evelyn wasn't gone just inside. He said he saw her face in the flame, her lips moving as if begging for release. One night, Marcus awoke to find Jonah barefoot in the snow, lantern in hand, whispering to it. He said it told him things, promises, secrets. By morning, Jonah was gone too. That left Marcus and Claire. They tried to leave Salem, but every attempt failed. The car broke down at the edge of town. The bus never arrived. It was as if Salem itself conspired to keep them there. Claire stopped eating. She muttered about bargains, about the lantern keeping souls trapped between light and dark. Then, on the night of June 6th, Marcus woke to find Claire missing. The lantern sat at the foot of his bed, glowing brighter than ever. Inside the flame, he swore he saw 3 faces: Evelyn, Jonah, Claire, all staring back at him. Marcus became the last. He tried to destroy the lantern, burn it, drown it, bury it. Each time, it returned, stronger, closer. In desperation, he went to Sheriff Donnelly. The sheriff only shook his head. He'd seen it before. You don't get rid of it, he said. You pass it on. Marcus understood. That autumn, tourists walking through Salem stumbled upon an old iron lantern at the edge of Gallows Hill. Its glass cracked, its iron rusted, yet inside, a faint glow flickered, though no candle was present. No one ever saw Marcus again. The tourists, curious, picked it up, and so the cycle began anew. To this day, Salem remains a city defined by whispers and shadows. People come from across the world to hear stories of witches, ghosts, and trials long past. But locals know better. They avoid the woods near Gallows Hill. They lock their doors at night, and they never, ever touch what doesn't belong to them. But every few decades, someone does. And when they do, the lantern burns again,